Awesome. Okay, so hey everyone, welcome to our Freeze Your Meal workshop. I am Sam Thomas, and I am a director with Pampered Chef. Can you guys see both my screens here? I'm trying to get different viewpoints.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so we are live streaming this into our Facebook group. If you are watching us live stream, I cannot see comments because I'm on Zoom, so we'll get back to you afterwards. If you want to hop over to the Zoom link, you guys can find that on the Facebook group. Anybody on Zoom, like Debbie, Diane, if you have questions, feel free to ask me about them, and we'll go from there. So I'm super excited to have you guys here. Debbie, is this your first Freeze Your Meal workshop?
Yes.
Awesome. And who invited you?
Linda.
Linda, awesome. Okay, so she is my good friend and someone that introduced me to Freeze Your Meal workshops and got me this lovely apron. So she just gave it to me so I get to wear it with the trips I've been on. But welcome to the Freeze Your Meal workshop. So what we're going to do today is you should have access to your Freeze Your Meal workshop packet. I find it easiest to print it out. If you didn't, that is okay. We're going to go through everything step by step. And if you're watching the replay, I'd say just go print it out if you can, or have it ready to scroll on a tablet or a phone so you can read the directions. And without further ado, we're going to kind of get this party started. So Diane, or anybody that is following along with us, we are going to start out with our root beer ribs. So I did not prepare mine ahead of time, partially because I wanted to be able to show the people who are watching how to do this, okay? So let me grab my big bowl really quick. Okay. So the easiest way that I find that if you buy these big baby back ribs or beef ribs in the actual wrap and they're not already pre-cut up, is to get a very big mixing bowl or do this over your sink. Okay. And I want to see really quick. Let me see. Okay, cool. So I'm going to do it in the big bowl. Sorry, guys. I was making sure that I'm live. Okay. Okay. So you'll cut them out of the package. I love having a pair of really great kitchen shears. So we have our professional shears that are like spring loaded, or we have these really awesome stainless kitchen shears that are like what I like to call like my grandma's, because they come apart, and my grandmother always had a pair of these. They were a little bit rusty by the time I saw hers, but they last a long time, and I love that you can clean with them. These ones are actually awesome because they can cut through some pretty strong pieces of meat, and they're just a great addition to the kitchen. Before I get started, I do want to give you guys one more pro tip. And I would recommend, if you don't already, have a bowl to throw your scraps in, or grab your garbage can and bring it on over to wherever you are prepping. So you have it ready to go, makes it super easy, and you can plop whatever right in. Okay, so baby back ribs. Here is the baby back ribs. So this probably is not going to very easily fit in your gallon Ziploc bag as is. So it's a pretty big rack. You are going to want to cut off the membrane and cut these into pieces. Okay, so I'm going to start. The membrane is this part back here, and so it's really easy to do. You can take either shear here, and you're kind of gonna stab it there. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how I cut through this meat with these shears, and then I think cutting them into sections honestly makes it a little easier to remove the membrane. So what kitchen shears do you guys know that can cut through this raw meat so easily? Okay, and then you have the back membrane. You can kind of get under, and once you get under it, you can kind of peel it off, or you can keep cutting it off. like this. Okay, so this is kind of the messy part. If you're squeamish, that's why we have rubber gloves on here. We often have you guys do this before you start prepping anything else, because we want you guys to have some food safety, no cross contamination. So before I start cutting anything else, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and sanitize my workspace. But yeah, any questions about rib cutting for the membrane?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, cool. So easy way to do this. Again, the first couple times I did this, I had no clue. I don't think I made ribs for the first time until, gosh, maybe 5, 6 years ago. So it wasn't something I was comfortable with. It wasn't something I really ate a whole lot of because I didn't actually know how good they were until I did. They weren't something I typically ordered at a restaurant, but now that I figured out how to make them at home, they are really a great treat for us to have. Okay, so we'll have those ready to go. So what I would say is, if you are somebody that already has your ribs prepped and in your bag, we're going to start walking through step by step what you need to do to prepare this bag. This is a pretty easy recipe. It's more the prep of the meat right now, and then cooking day, you'll just throw them in a slow cooker or the quick cooker or in the rock crock and be able to cook them pretty quick. So if you have your ribs ready in your bag, you're going to go ahead and take your smoky barbecue rub, get that ready. Another pro tip, Debbie, when you go ahead and start yours, I would go through and take all your spices, take off the caps and pull off the freshness seal tabs. That way it's super easy to just grab and go. You don't have to worry about pulling off the tab in the middle of working, and it will just make things a little more fluid while you're prepping.
Okay, have you done any of this in the Instapot, or is that not a recommended way?
Yep, actually the quick cooker, so awesome question, Debbie. So if you guys have a electric pressure cooker at home, Instapot, Foodie, quick cooker is what you'll hear us say. That is something that you can make these in. I don't know the direct conversion, to be honest. I think our cooking day instructions might have a conversion. If not, Debbie, pamperedchef.com, quick cooker ribs, I believe there is a recipe on there that you could probably adapt to the electric pressure cooker that you have.
Okay.
Okay, so I have mine cut. I have mine in 4 slices wrapped. I'm going to wash my hands really quick, put them in the bag, wash my hands, and clean up my prep space. So if you have your stuff ready to go, like I said, put your ribs in your freezer meal bag, and you're going to put 3 tablespoons of smoky barbecue rub onto your actual ribs, okay? So you'll dump that in the bag with that. Hey, Diane,
Yes.
can you give the pro tip on the cap for the rub?
So a tablespoon is a capful, but not a heaping capful. So you just fill it to the top, and that'll be 1 tablespoon.
Little pro tip there again, a little trick if you don't want to grab out all your measuring spoons, or your measuring spoons don't fit in the lid or in the container of your spices. We love that cap converts. However, if you are looking for smaller amounts or larger amounts, all our measuring spoons do actually fit in the into the Pampered Chef spices. Okay, so quick hand wash again. And I'm gonna wipe down my workspace. So yeah, so if you guys are doing this at home, once again, I highly encourage you, if you didn't prep your meat ahead of time, get all your meat prepped in your bags, and then start cutting up your vegetables and everything after you kind of decontaminate your workspace, or have 2 separate prep areas for that, because that way you don't have the cross contamination of meat and vegetables All of it honestly will be cooked, but it's just good practice in general to have that ready to go. Okay, so that was pretty much our messiest one. I got the chicken ready to go. I'll kind of tell you guys and walk you through that. Ooh, hit my knife. Okay. And so if you have a pretty deep measuring or a mixing bowl, like we have our Pampered Chef nesting ones. I have a couple of versions here. I have my husband's grandparents, but I use all these. It's great to plop your Ziploc bags into the mixing bowl. It makes it super easy to hold it up and pour the stuff in without it spilling all over your counter, especially when you're working with meat, okay? Or juice or broth and things like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and dump in my 3 tablespoons of smoky barbecue rub. We have some really, really fabulous barbecue rubs that are out right now. We have a Kansas style barbecue, a South Carolina style barbecue. So all of those would be quite delicious with this particular recipe. Okay. Okay, so now that we have that ready, literally all we're gonna do is close up this bag. You're gonna mix up the rub around the meat here. Okay. And really coat it, shake it. And then when it goes in the freezer, it'll have time to sit on your rib. Now I'm going to ask a question. Debbie, are you familiar with Pampered Chef spices and rubs, or is this kind of your very first rodeo even using these?
No, this is the first time I've ever used the Pampered Chef stuff.
Awesome. Okay. So a little trivia here, or a little yeah, I guess trivia. So do you know the difference between a seasoning and a rub?
Well, a rub usually goes on dry
Mm-hmm.
and actually gets rubbed into the meat. And a spice is just you shake it on and leave it.
Yeah. So I think you had just the perfect thing there. Our rubs are actually a little more potent, so you can rub them on the meat and cook them. And then the seasonings, like you said, throw it on, leave it on. So if you're using Pampered Chef spices and rubs, I would encourage you to, the rubs are going to be a lot easier to use. Like if you're like you forgot to marinate your meat or something like that, you can throw them on like pretty much right before you cook. Mix it up with a little bit of oil on top or whatever you need to do, and then you will be able to just cook it almost right away and give you instant flavor. Whereas seasonings do need to sit longer to kind of get that flavor into whatever you're putting them on. Okay, so for those of you watching, you guys in your pages 11 and 12 of your meal packet, you're going to have cooking day instructions. What you are going to want to do with these is you'll have the name of the recipe. It'll have the cooking day instructions. Debbie, it does have quick cooker on here. So if you make a mental note, that's our electric pressure cooker. So it does have the directions for that. And it tells you what else you need for actual cooking day. And then you put the date that you are going to freeze it on. So freezer meals. Freezer meals are good for about 3 months in your regular freezer and 4 to 6 in a deep freezer. So if you're ever wondering if it's good or not, it's great to label both your cooking day instructions as well as your bag. So I've already closed my first bag. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to throw my cooking day instructions in my second one. They are going to go in either a sandwich bag or a quart bag. These ones were printed out a little different than our previous workshop, so they don't fit as nicely. And then I put them in a sandwich bag because that way, when I put them in the freezer or I'm defrosting stuff, the instructions don't get all dirty. And then I take a second bag and I also will label that with a Sharpie or or a pen, depending on what you have. And we'll put the date on that as well, just because, you know, sometimes stuff gets lost in the freezer. It's easier to see that big date there. So then you can put your cooking instructions in. You put your first bag with your meat in, and you have it ready to go. So once that's done, the ribs are a little more challenging to figure out how to store, but you kind of have to look at your freezer space. So if you store your stuff flat, it stacks nicely in the freezer. However, I will say if you're somebody that forgets to pull stuff out and thaw it, and maybe you're gonna throw it in that electric pressure cooker, the quick cooker from Frozen, I would recommend storing it more like a, what did I call it last time, Diane? Like a hot dog type style where it's a little more compact, because then I can pull it out and throw it in frozen this way, but the flatter will defrost faster. So it's totally your planning style. I have 3 young kids, and so sometimes we're a little sporadic, and we just may pull something out of the freezer at 3 or 4 o'clock. So, okay. I'm gonna check our Facebook chat really quick and see if we have any questions over here. I don't think we do. Turn off the sound on that. There. Okay, I don't think we have anybody watching, so we're gonna keep on going. Oh, looks like we had somebody else join. Hello.
I think it's Leah. Leah.
Is this Keisha, Leah?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry, I'm under my husband's Zoom, Stephen Bushnick.
No problem.
It's okay if I'm a little behind, because I had to actually get the right beef.
No problem. Actually, we just finished the root beer ribs one. I showed people how to cut the membrane off. So you may not be too far behind. Okay. So the next thing that we are going to get started with, guys, is our Parmesan garlic chicken, or pork chop. Sorry, I'm using chicken for mine. Gabby, as you're taking note, if there's things like your family prefers or doesn't prefer, you prefer, don't prefer, a lot of these chicken and pork recipes can be kind of cross adapted. So the Parmesan garlic pork chops are going to be our next recipe. So I'm going to say, get your stations ready, mise en place, everything in its place before you move on to your next recipe. And that really kind of helps you stay organized and not running around and flustered. So the things you will need for this are 2 pounds of bone-in pork chops, or you can use chicken, 1 can of cream of mushroom soup, 1 cup of apple juice or apple cider, 4 tablespoons of butter, and 2 ounces of Parmesan cheese finely shredded. Okay, so I'm gonna go grab my meat so we can get started with this. Okay, so the spices that we're going to need if you're just jumping in are going to be the garlic and herb rub and 3 onion rubs. I love that I have like multiple views. I know the Facebook people can't see everything, but other people can. Okay, so if you didn't have your chicken out of the package, that's okay. Again, I like to show this because sometimes it's easy at our in-person free meal workshops to kind of like get prepared and ready to go. But here we go. Take your bowl or something to put your Ziploc bag in if you don't already have your chicken ready. If you do, open up your chicken or pork bag. Sorry, I'm gonna keep saying chicken. I get individually packaged chicken and pork. So all I'm gonna do is plop these babies in here. So I'm not doing a whole lot of cross contamination. But again, I wanted to show you guys how easy it is to do this if you're coming straight from the grocery store home to prep, okay? If you're doing this for your first time, again, try to get all your meat bags ready to go. That way you're not having to decontaminate everything every other time. But this is something I've done, gosh, I've been doing freezer meal workshops in 2014, so that is ready to go. I'll also clean off my counter here. Okay. So now that you have your pork chop in your bag, you're going to want to add your seasoning next. Okay, so your seasonings that you're going to want are 1 tablespoon of garlic and herb rub and 1 tablespoon of 3 onion rub. Leah, I'm sure since you're familiar with Pampered Chef, you may know this, but one of the tricks that we love at these freezer meal workshops is instead of trying to switch all these measuring spoons and everything, a cap is 1 tablespoon. So you can pour it in. Okay. We're going to go ahead and pour that part in first. I personally like to shake around the rub a little bit before I put anything else in, but you certainly can wait till the end. Okay, next thing you're going to get ready is your cream of mushroom soup. Okay, guys, cream of mushroom soup are full tabs, but I have to take this opportunity to share this awesome can opener. So I mentioned that I have 3 kids. One of my kids is a 9-month-old, and he's very mobile right now. So anything in the recycle or trash, he can grab. Not to mention that I have a dog that likes to get into the recycle as well. So what I love to do is use this smooth edge can opener, and I'm going to show you guys how this works because I can't tell you how many people have purchased one of these and they're like, oh my God, it's so cool. And then they get it in the mail and they're like, I have no clue how to use this thing. So here's a quick tutorial. There are YouTube videos on it as well. But all you do is it kind of looks like, I don't know, it kind of looks like a can opener, like one of those electric ones that you just kind of like plop under the can under. So you're going to put this on top of the can and then you're just going to rest it and turn and you'll feel it grab. And if you grab it correctly, you're going to be able to lift up that can, no problem. If you didn't, sorry, it's going to fall on your toe and you're going to say, oh crap, that hurt. But you'll turn and then you'll feel a release. You'll just know it by feeling. And then you'll turn it back counterclockwise and it will release the actual can opener from the can. And then we have these cool little clippy things. I'll show you on both cameras here. And you basically take the lip of the can and push this button up here and pull it up. So what's really cool about this is if you didn't know, when they seal cans, they just seal them with glue along the edge. So using the can opener just releases the glue and you can pull it up and it is all smooth edge. So you're not going to have people cutting themselves on the can edge and things like that. So pretty cool, huh? Okay.
I love that can opener. It's just so handy.
Yes, it is. And it's one of those things, like, I feel like until you actually see it in action or use it, you're like, how could a can opener be any better than your typical can opener, right?
I use it over and above an electric one. I don't even use an electric one anymore. I only use that one.
Yes, we don't have an electric one either. So great. Okay. Another one of my favorite little tools here. If you don't have this, guys, this is like 12 bucks. It is so worth the investment. This is called a scoop and spread. Anybody hates scooping things out of like a cream of mushroom soup can or tomato sauce or peanut butter jar, mayonnaise jar? Well, this is the bomb.com tool for you. It is silicone, just like our scrapers. And it really, really scrapes things out really well. But what I really like about it is like if I'm making like a cream cheese bagel or like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, it has this awesome spreader on the other side. Plus, it's a super versatile tool. And we all know kitchen real estate space is a hot commodity, right? Anybody? And so having tools that are versatile and don't take up, 5 scrapers for like 5 different things. Now, I have like every single scraper that we have because I use them for everything, but you kind of get the gist. If you have somebody with a smaller kitchen, smaller apartment, this might be a great gift as well. Okay. So we have our cream of mushroom soup in there next. The next one is going to be your 1 cup of apple cider vinegar or apple juice. I am probably going to run out of this because I didn't realize how low I was, but you know, we're going to improvise. So easy read measuring cup here. Love these things. You don't have to get down on the edge of your counter to see. It has some great little numbers. If you can see it on the video there and on the side, and then you'll go ahead and pour that in next. Butter. You're going to take your butter, 4 tablespoons. And I'll show you guys the butter trick. And half a stick butter is 4 tablespoons, just so y'all know. And instead of, let's see if I can get you guys a good picture. You guys really don't have to do much except for cut a stick of butter in half. I'm using my big Santoku knife. And then I typically will cut the stick of butter long way. If y'all can see this. And then I turn it over and use the paper lines to finish cutting it into cubes so I know exactly where they are. Okay. So and then you just have to remember to get the paper off, wax paper off. If you don't, guys, it probably won't be the end of the world. We've probably eaten wax paper before, a stick of gum or something, but probably not the best tasting. So I have my cubes. I'm gonna stick that in. And honestly, this butter is gonna be more for like on cooking day. It's gonna melt and make it just super savory. Hold on. Okay. How are you all doing for the people making it? Are you guys on the butter step?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. And then the final step is going to be your Parmesan cheese. Okay, guys. When I discovered that I could grate my own Parmesan cheese, I've never gone back to my green capped bottle. Okay. So couple pro tips on Parmesan cheese. 1, we make a really, really amazing fine adjustable grater, which is perfect if you're trying to do your Parmesan cheese fresh over the top. 2, if you have an Aldi or Lidl by you, you can get an entire brick of Parmesan cheese, the really good kind that they use in restaurants, for really inexpensive. Okay. So do I have any other Lidl or Lidl, some people say, or Aldi fans here?
Me.
Never been to an Aldi's.
Oh.
Aldi has, so Debbie, I don't know, where do you live?
Lindale, Texas.
Texas, okay. I don't know if y'all have Aldi's down there.
We do. We have it down in Tyler, which is like the city next door.
Okay.
But it's not close. I mean, it's not close enough to say, oh, let me run to Aldi's kind of thing. You've got to plan for it.
Yeah, okay. So Aldi's pretty, like they've become pretty popular. I'm in Virginia, up here, and they used to be kind of that store that didn't have the best reputation. It, you know, it's really inexpensive stuff, but it was just kind of that stockpile store.
Yes, I miss my Wegmans.
Yeah. So I will say Aldi's now are that they still have like the limited selection, but I feel like at least when they redo them, they're more like a German market type feel. There's less of a selection, but they have some really great options, organic. They have an amazing cheese selection that's inexpensive. Brie cheese, Gouda, Parmesan, and things like that. Okay. So here is the fine grater. You can either grate it straight into the bag, and it's about 2 tablespoons, or you can grate it into a measuring cup to get the tablespoons. Or if you don't have a grater, did you know that in the Italian delis, they actually take this block of Parmesan cheese, cut it into 4s, and throw it in their blender to grind it up? Yeah. So you would pulse grind it, okay? That is a really easy way to take this big block of cheese and put it into a container to have the convenience of your blue cap Parmesan cheese from the grocery store. So, or your blue cap, your green cap one. So I'm gonna go ahead you guys can kind of see. I'm gonna show you what this looks like. Some nice freshly grated Parmesan cheese here. And we'll go ahead and plop that back in. Okay. So now we have this, all our ingredients in here. You're gonna close up the bag again. Get as much air out of these bags as you can, guys. It helps with freezer burn. And you're gonna knead everything together in the bag. Okay. You're going to grab your cooking day instructions. So Leah, I know you were just joining us. That will be pages 11 and 12 of the freezer meal packet if you printed it off. And you basically will just cut those.
Yes,
Nice.
I got that set.
Okay, perfect. And I usually just cut them, put them in a sandwich bag, and then I double bag my stuff.
So what I just did it so that there's two free like gallon size bags, and the instructions are in 1 gallon size, and then the whole meal's in the other, and then it's just double bagged that way, so it all stays together.
Yeah. So I actually put mine in a sandwich bag because I've had my inside bag with the food leak into the outside bag before. And then I have
Oh,
my instructions.
okay.
So, freezer date on. Hold out my favorite bags. Okay. So that's just a little tip there. After doing this so many times, you could do that, or honestly, I also have people print off the cooking day instructions and like throw it on their fridge, so they have it ready to go there too.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, ready to go. Throw this in. And
Oh, so good.
I know it does. It does. So for those of you watching, we do have suggested like sides that was on your grocery list. So this one would go great with Brussels sprouts or fingerling potatoes or both. Shaved Brussels sprouts. Green beans, if your family's not a Brussels sprout fan, is also a nice one to eat with this. And then Leah, is this your first freezer meal workshop?
No.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you wanted to go over the closure of like storing it flat or storing with it like bunched up. Hot dog.
I've done it both ways. Last time I actually froze them so that they were in the shape of a quick cooker. Then I could just drop them in the bottom of the quick cooker.
I love it. So I literally was just talking about how in my house that I forget to take stuff out. And Debbie, if you're going to be looking to make some of these in your pressure cooker, that might be the thing for you to do, is like have it in that shape. So when you defrost it or need to like get it out quick in the for cooking day, it's ready to go. So okay, garlic. Cool. Okay. So moving right along, we are going to, I would recommend again, cleaning up, wiping up your workspace, and we're going to move on to our, what is it? It's the next chicken one. Our lemon pepper chicken. So this is the one where if you have a whole chicken, you're going to need to have that ready to go. And you'll need your garlic infused canola oil, your lemon pepper rub, your herbes de Provence seasoning mix, and your garlic and herb rub. Okay, I'm gonna throw these in the freezer. I asked hubby to do it. My husband is repairing lightsabers right now. So he gets to listen to the workshop. Enjoy my company, huh? Uh-huh.
And what are you serving your family tonight for dinner, or did you already eat?
So we ate I have young kids. I have a 9-month-old, a 5-year-old, and a 7-year-old, and 7:45, almost 7:45 here. So we had spaghetti time, but I'll keep one of these out, or maybe two for the upcoming week. So yeah, it's hard to choose which one though, to eat. I would say that the pork chop would probably be a quick one if you're looking for something to eat tonight, or even the double onion burgers if you have the buns already, would be a great one to make pretty quickly. Okay, so full chicken. Has anybody here never made a full chicken or bought a whole chicken before?
No, I mean, I'm pretty well practiced at it.
Cool, awesome. So if you haven't, if anybody's watching the replay, most of the time, if you bought it one, there's going to be like packaged innards inside the chicken itself. So you need to take the chicken out of the main package, then you need to open it up and pull out another package. So I'm going to ask you guys that are well-versed in chicken, does anybody do anything with like the innards or cook it at all? I just always like to ask.
I just trash them because not even a cat will eat them. So
Anybody?
The only thing I do is we do is like in turkey, we boil it to get the juice to make the gravy.
Okay.
I actually put all my bones from the chicken and all of the gizzards and everything in the quick cooker, and I make my own bone broth. And I cook it for like 4 hours, and then cook it, push it down, and then to break up all the bones, and then cook it again. So it like sits for almost 24 hours. Then I slow cook it overnight.
Awesome.
So
Okay.
I love that.
Yeah, I hated throwing out the innards, but I just don't have the energy to make bone broth right now. Though I mean, honestly, you put it in the quick cooker, you walk away, it's not that big of a deal, but.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get started. So we're gonna have this stuff ready to go. You're gonna take your garlic infused canola oil. I left mine over here. And you are going to put, I think it's 2 tablespoons of garlic infused canola oil in. I did not pull mine out because it's in the dishwasher, but we have a really, really cute smaller version of this. It's like our little mini easy read measuring cup. And it has actually 2 tablespoons on it. Oh, Diane has it right there. Love it. Okay, Diana.
So
I don't know if they'll see it on Facebook, but I'm recording this anyway, so we can put it on the recorded version. And so I'm going to guesstimate. If there's anything you learn about me, guys, is cooking is not an exact science. Baking is. Cooking is not. If you don't have all these tools or these gadgets, I recommend them because they really do make life easier. You have some recipes that really do need that exact amount to make it that flavor right. But for oil, yeah, it doesn't really matter that much. The garlic infused canola oil is great. And actually, if you don't have this, you're gonna need to add some sort of garlic to your recipe. But I love using this in dipping sauces too. If you're making spaghetti, this is a great one to toss your spaghetti in because it gives it just a little more garlic flavor. If you're making like a white sauce, a white spaghetti sauce, this is a great one to use as well. Okay, so then you're going to take your lemon pepper rub. Mine is a little older one, so I'm trying to get rid of. You're gonna do 3 tablespoons of lemon pepper rub, okay?
okay.
So again, about 3 cats full. I'm gonna get my other one out because I have not used my lemon pepper rub in a really long time, so I'm super excited about this recipe because I love lemon pepper. And like we used to make a ton of like chicken salad and tuna, and lemon pepper is great in that. Then you're going to do 1 tablespoon of your herbs de Provence. so good. This is great chicken one with some seasoning salt. Ooh, so good. Okay, and then you're gonna go ahead and take your garlic and herb rub, 1 tablespoon. Pampered Chef also fairly recently came out with the lemon garlic rub that I have not tried on this recipe yet. But I would say that it would be one that you could probably use about 4 tablespoons of it, and then the herbs de Provence, and get a nice flavor too. Oh, smells really good too. So the lemon garlic one, not the lemon pepper garlic. You might need a little more pepper in it, but I don't think that much more, but that's a really yummy one too. Okay, once you get all that in, you're gonna rub this all over. This is another one where if you have some gloves, guys, I would say get your rubber gloves out and you can massage this into your chicken. Okay, if you don't and you're not afraid of meat, just wash your hands before we go to the next recipe. And really rub in the rub and the oil into the actual outside of the chicken. You can probably do a little bit on the inside of the chicken. You're gonna have a lot left over on your hands, and that'll get some of it off, but that'll get a nice flavor on it. And honestly, when you're making stuff like turkeys and everything, I would do this too. I would really rub in some of this stuff. It gives a really great flavor. So guys, I am actually, hopefully, I have to check how big this is and if it'll fit. This might be too big. I'm gonna try to make this one in my rotisserie setting in my air fryer.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So yeah. So yeah, I'm
Is that-
very excited.
I always make the Peruvian chicken recipe.
Yeah.
And my family loves it. So I was thinking the same exact thing.
Yeah. Yes. So okay, I'm gonna go wash my hands now and close up this bag here in a moment.
So how long do you think you cook it in the air fryer for?
About 50 minutes on rotisserie. I think it's what the setting is.
My air fryer doesn't have rotisserie settings, so.
Yeah, the Pampered Chef one's pretty decked out. It is, have you seen it, Debbie, at all?
Yeah, I've seen it, I think.
I would say, I know like my mother-in-law had one of the drawer, like you pull the drawer out one.
Yeah.
And she ended up switching to the Pampered Chef one just because it's super versatile. You have the rotisserie setting, you have the dehydrate setting. It's bigger, so it's like almost like your those toaster ovens, you know,
Yeah.
where I mean people have them still, but they were a big thing for a while. So it's like a multi-use tool for sure. Okay. So now that we have our chicken ready to go, I'm gonna go ahead and cut my cooking day instructions. Again, for those of you who might be joining us in between, maybe a little bit late, put your freezer date, and if you need to make a mental note, typically your freezer is going to be, your freezer meals are going to be good for 3 months in your regular freezer, or for up to like 4 to 6 in a deep freezer. And it really depends on how cold you keep it and how often you open and close that freezer door. Okay, serving suggestions with this one: sauteed zucchini, steamed carrots are great. If you have a micro cooker, I make some nice carrots and put some garlic and herb rub on them, or some dill seasoning mix. So lots of great options with those.
Do some of that oil on it too, right?
Yeah, exactly. So okay, so, and then double bag this one for sure. If you're gonna skimp on double bags, this one you just want to double bag because there's gonna be lots of juice and stuff like that that you don't want leaking all over your freezer. Okay. How are we doing? Is everybody done with their chicken?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. You guys can see it's just fixed in this freezer bag, and you don't really have a choice on how to store this one. Okay, so mise en place, go ahead and get your area cleaned up if you need to. We are going to be moving on to, I believe, the burgers next. Okay. Let me grab stuff and move it out of the way. Wipe down my area. I guess I should have shared this pro tip. I just have like a thing of wipes, or some, I mean, if you don't have wipes at home, I get these ones from a subscription, but I like to keep just a thing of like your disinfectant wipe right near me when I'm doing this, because it just makes easy cleanup for everything. Okay. So let's get the list for this one, and let's get our things ready to go. You are going to need your 2 pounds of ground beef or ground turkey. You're going to need a couple gallon Ziplocs here, okay? You're going to need 2 medium onions, 3 slices of firm sandwich bread, a half a cup of milk, and again, your plastic gloves if you have them. So this can recycle. Okay. So if you are somebody that has a nice mixing bowl, either one of our glass ones or something like that, and you did not prepare your meat ahead of time in a Ziploc, you can also do this in a mixing bowl. It's also great to do like if you're just going to make these burgers like on the fly. These are great on the fly burgers that don't necessarily just have to be a freezer meal commodity. I am making ground turkey burgers. My husband's not going to be happy about it, but we're out of regular ground beef. We actually get flash frozen food delivered about every 6 months, so meat and vegetables, and so we're down to the last of our layers here. So, okay, that's ready to go. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to want to do is if you put your meat in, I want you to wipe your hands, clean up your surface. If you just have your meat in your bag, don't worry about it, but grab your 2 onions. Grab your 2 onions. Okay. Grab a cutting board. Personally love flexible cutting mats for events like this. Makes it super easy to clean and scrape stuff in. And if you are somebody that has some Pampered Chef tools, the simple slicer is great. The rapid prep mandolin is great for this, as well as the food chopper. Okay, so what you're going to do is you are going to take your onions and cut them on setting 3 if you're using your simple slicer. If you're using your rapid prep mandolin, I mean, it doesn't look great though. We're going to get a different one. You're going to probably play around with the settings. We'll see what that looks like. You're going to cut your onion in half, peel it apart. If you have a citrus peeler or one of our onion peelers, great opportunity to pull it out and use it. And I'm going to go ahead and put these together. Okay, so if you are at home watching, you are actually going to just slice these onions. These are not going to be diced at this point. So you're going to take your onions and you're going to slice them fairly thick, not like super thick, not onion ring thick, but fairly thick. Like I said, setting 3 on your simple slicer, and let's see what it's going to be like on our rapid prep mandolin here. Okay. We have these ready to go. Let's cut off my very bottom here. And it's ready to cool. Okay, so Pampered Chef Rapid Prep Mandolin is amazing. If you are familiar with Pampered Chef or with mandolin, sometimes they can be scary. We used to have a different mandolin other than this, and it got discontinued. Know that there were lots of people who struggled with cutting themselves and things like that. So I'm gonna actually tip this down so you guys can get a good view of it. So I love it because it has a lock setting for the blade here. You're gonna open this up. The blade itself is actually gonna go over the food rather than the food going over the blade, like your older mandolin or our simple slice. If you have a older mandolin or a simple slicer, definitely use your food guard, okay? But if you have this one, I think these will fit. I'm gonna play around with the settings. You're gonna put it so it slices it. And I'm gonna try setting 5 and just see what it looks like on this one. What I love about the simple slicer, guys, is the simple slicer is gonna be able to definitely dice this onion in a nice form. The rapid prep mandolin, you need a smaller onion to get that form. But it's super easy. I had definitely have it on the wrong setting here, guys. Let's see if that works. So you're gonna want to put it on the whole setting if you're using the rapid prep mandolin. So Debbie, because you're watching, the rapid prep mandolin has tons of different settings that you just do based on a twist. So you can do diced onion, you can do sliced onion, you can make your own French fries. There's so many different options with this. It's amazing. Okay, that looks like a good setting. So for those of you using the rapid prep mandolin, I have it on the whole setting in number 7. And that's probably between 6 and 7. It's probably close to our number 3 on the simple slicer.
So the thicker the better?
Yeah.
Or yes?
Yeah. You want it to be a little, Diane, I think that's a personal question.
I like it I put it on 3 and I like it thinner. So when you're making the burgers, I don't know.
So I would say that that's totally a personal question. If your family prefers, a little bit thinner ones, what I want you to remember is these are pretty much going to be sauteed. Okay, so they'll kind of cook down a little bit. So if you make them too thin, they're going to kind of fall apart. Okay. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and take one of your empty bags. If you have a quart bag, that's ideal. If you don't, that's okay too. And you're going to throw your onion in there, and you're going to do about a tablespoon of the garlic infused canola oil. Okay, so Debbie, do you have any of the mandolins or simple slice?
Not from Pampered Chef, but yeah, I have that stuff.
Okay, so you'll be able to figure out how to do it. If anybody's watching again that doesn't have any of those tools, you guys, a good old chef's knife. I would actually use probably a Santoku knife. I love Santoku knives for onions is great. But this just saves you time. Except that I showed you guys really slow just to kind of show you. So if I was doing this on my own, it would be better. Okay, 1 tablespoon of your garlic infused canola oil. You're gonna go ahead and close this up and squeeze out as much air as possible. Okay, cool. So that is just going to be placed to the side for a little bit. You can also move your mandolin over. We will use this again, I think, for our last recipe. And then you're gonna grab your mixing bowl and your meat mixture, okay? Your mixing bowl and your meat mixture and your 3 pieces of bread, your milk, and your rub. So actually, before you put your meat in here, let me grab my bread really quick. Okay, this is our small batter bowl. Guys, if you don't have a batter bowl, you need it. It's simple, it's easy, they nest, they have a cover, super easy to use for lots of different things. And your milk. Okay, so again, easy measuring cup would come in handy here. You're gonna pour your half a cup of milk.
Sam.
Yeah.
Did you put anything in with the onions? Sorry.
The garlic infused canola oil, 1 tablespoon.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Are you guys good with your onions? Before I move on, I should ask that.
Yep, all good.
Okay, cool. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and take your bread. I'm just using a sprouted bread. It's firm. We're doing a little healthier recipe, but white bread would be great because you're essentially going to take this and place it and tear it apart, okay? You're just gonna put it in. And you want it to be a little drier, firmer bread. No Wonder Bread, guys, unless it's getting on the end of its days, getting a little firm there. Gonna take this, and then you're gonna take half a cup of milk and pour it over your bread. Here. The bread's really gonna start soaking that up. While that is sitting for a minute, you're gonna take your 3 onion rub. These burgers are delicious, guys. And you're gonna need 3 tablespoons of the onion rub, okay? So 1, this is from another workshop. I'm gonna have to get my other one open. 2 and 3. You're going to take a spatula, or in my case, I'm going to use the other end of my scoop and spread. And you're going to stir it up. Now my bread, guys, was pretty firm and it's not white bread. So I'm going to have to add a little more milk to mine to make it like a paste. So essentially your white bread should be breaking down and mixing in with this to make it like a paste that you're going to put in with your burger mixture. So again, if you're using like a more seedy bread or a healthier oat bread, again, the recipe called for white bread. We just don't buy it, and I wasn't going to buy it for this recipe. So I just have to adapt. And you're going to make a paste. And honestly, it's still going to be like, it's not going to be like a, what's it called? Like a paste you can spread, like as long as it's pretty much falling apart and can mix in with your burgers, like breadcrumbs. This is essentially homemade breadcrumbs, guys. You will be good. Okay, so the next step that you're gonna do is in your big mixing bowl or in the bag that you have your ground beef in, you're going to go ahead and knead this stuff together, okay? So I'm gonna actually do it in my mixing bowl because I'm gonna have to form these into burgers anyways. and I don't need to get a bag dirty. Okay. If you prefer to wear plastic gloves to do this, you can. I also sometimes like to add an egg because I feel like it holds the stuff together. You don't have to do that, but it's definitely something you can do. For turkey burgers, I actually probably will add an egg because for turkey burgers, they do tend to fall apart a little bit easier than your ground beef. They don't hold as well. So if you're making alternative meat burgers, then you have that option. Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
Would you mind grabbing me an egg out of the fridge really quick?
Yeah.
That way I don't have to wash my hands again. Thank you. Okay. If your mixture is still kind of wet, like too wet, where it's hard to form stuff, you can add another slice of bread. You can, if you need to, just break it up, put it in with the mixture again. Like I said, I'm going to add an egg to mine. So if you ever make burgers homemade in general, I'm telling you the egg definitely helps keep that together once it's cooking. Okay. So the next step is if you have a burger press, you can start pressing some of these into burgers. So Diane, if you want to come off mute, I think that I'll be able to spotlight you onto the actual Facebook one, and you can show what you're doing. I don't have my burger press, so.
I use it all the time.
Awesome. So why don't you give some tips and tricks on using that really quick?
So the best thing is to make sure your meat is super cold. So even if you're making the mixture now, you can always press the burgers later when you're ready, or put the meat back in the refrigerator and then press it, because it stays together better if it's super cold. And the best thing about this, the bottom is silicone. So you can actually, sorry, press it and it actually just falls out.
Cool. Okay, so Diane, walk us through what you would do. Are you gonna put your meat back in your fridge, or are you actually gonna press them out tonight?
I'm actually just gonna make this tomorrow, so I'm just gonna press them out tomorrow.
Okay, so you would put your meat mixture, how much would you put in there?
So I put, with our scoops, so I put 2 large scoops in here. And then I press it with this, and then on the bottom, there's a little nubby here, so it makes a little hole in the center. So it will stop it from shrinking as much when you cook it.
Okay.
You press it, and then I put it on the grill.
Awesome. Okay, so the way I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna take my 2-pound thing of meat, and I'm going to go ahead and break it in half again, and break it in half again. So you're gonna have 8 burgers come out of this, okay? So you'll have about 1/4-pound burgers. I'm gonna wash this flexible cutting mat, so I'm gonna actually line mine up on here so they're ready to go. And then I do my little thumbprint in the middle because it just helps it keep cooking and stay together for whatever reason. I don't remember the rationale to that trick. Okay. This is the messy part, guys. So again, if you have rubber gloves, you prefer to use those. Sometimes at our in-person workshops, we prefer to do that, but when you're in your own kitchen, you may prefer to just do it this way. Okay, so once you're done getting these burgers ready, you're gonna put 4 of them in a single Ziploc bag and like lay them out like I am here on my cutting mat. And I know you guys can't see me on the main computer screen. Now you can. And I'm gonna finish just pressing mine out so I don't have to keep washing my hands every 5 minutes. This is where if you have a kitchen helper, significant other, a child, parent, anybody that you have with you, sometimes it's nice to have them hold the bag open for you so you do not have to do this messy bit of detail. Okay. Two. Okay. So these burgers are ready to pretty much go. These are going to be nice big burgers. I'm so excited. And actually, I'm probably going to leave these out to make this week because I bought the buns and have them ready to go. So I'm going to wash my hands and open my Ziploc bags. Okay. If you're somebody who prefers to use a single Ziploc bag, that is possible too, but I would layer one in, put a sheet of wax paper or parchment paper in between them, and then lay the next layer. I personally am just gonna put them in 2 separate Ziplocs because I actually think I'm out of wax paper, believe it or not. And we'll go from there. So let's see, how are we doing? How are you guys doing, the people that are making burgers?
I was trying to get more than 6.
Did you have 2 pounds?
Yeah, I have 2 pounds, but that's why I'm thinking I might just make more later.
Okay.
And do it separately.
Okay. So if you guys can see, oh, either somebody hopped on or I put, here we go. I don't know what just happened. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick these in here. So you guys can see that I have them layered. Lay them out flat. You can pull them out easily. When you freeze them, if they're not touching, they're gonna be super easy to pull out. If they're frozen, to put on a plate to defrost, or you keep them in the bag until it is time to cook. This would be my choice. These definitely can be frozen. You can make a huge batch of these for, you know, if you're doing a barbecue or something this summer, but it would be my choice to keep these out and just make them because they're delicious. And if you already have your buns ready to go, then it's ready. Okay, so if you are freezing these, you are going to wash your hands, close up your bags, get as much air out of them as you can. You're going to carefully place them all in the 3rd Ziploc bag with your cut up onion and your cooking day instructions. And then put them in the freezer. And these ones you probably definitely want to lay flat. Okay, so one more hand wash over here. Okay, so I'm going to close these up. Going to move mine to the fridge with my onion and my cooking day instructions. I want to make sure I didn't forget anything. Okay, cool. So for these burgers, I would say You could make some awesome French fries in your air fryer. You could make some sweet potato fries. You could do baked beans, green beans, all would go great with these. Okay. Burgers are ready to go. Clean up crew here. That way we can move on to the next recipe. Okay, our cutting mats come in a set of 3, so I'm grabbing the fresh one. And we're gonna be working on our final recipe here, which is our beef and broccoli. So if you have finished your burgers and are ready to start pulling the ingredients for beef and broccoli, then this is the time to do it. I think that was recipe number 4, right guys? Am I missing one?
Nope, this is the last one soon.
Okay, so this is number 5. Yep, so we just finished recipe 4. Cool. Okay, do I have any questions so far?
No, I'm
Nope.
good.
Okay, cool.
Those were super easy.
I will say these recipes are easy. This is probably one of our messier meat recipe menus, but it's going to be pretty darn good and a great way to kick off the summer. Okay. I'm gonna bring this over and do one more hand wash. Okay. I'm a little bit of a compulsive hand washer. My mom's a dietitian and she's in like food safety. And so I took like food safety courses growing up. And so, you know, just switching stuff over is a big thing. Okay, so let's get all our ingredients ready for our awesome beef and broccoli stir fry. This is a must thaw one. So again, this might be a good one to keep out if you're like, I'm not very good at remembering to thaw stuff and make fresh this week. You're gonna need your beef top sirloin steak. You're gonna need your you're gonna need another 3 freezer gallon bags, 3 cups of broccoli florets, which we'll cut up and show you all how to do, 1 medium onion, 1 medium red bell pepper, 1 medium yellow bell pepper, which guys, you can use some orange, red, green, whatever you want. Soy sauce, 2 garlic cloves, and cornstarch. The seasoning mixes you're going to want to gather together are going to be your Asian seasoning mix and then your infused garlic canola oil, okay? So let's go ahead and I'm gonna wait to bring my meat over because again, I don't have that in the package. If you have yours in the package, you're good to go, but you're going to prepare your vegetables first. Since I just wiped off my section, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Okay, so fresh cutting mat, grabbing my vegetables. Again, if you are somebody that's doing this at home, mine is pre-washed broccoli. You can get your vegetables together and washed and ready to go. If you're gonna be prepping at home by yourself, that's an easy way to get things done. I'm gonna grab my peppers here. Woo, flying peppers. Okay, I'm gonna rinse these babies really quick. Okay. And do I have my stuff out? Okay, I have one more tool that I really want to show you all this evening because it really is pretty great. Grab myself a fresh knife. Okay, guys, so we're going to start with the broccoli. If you have your broccoli, guys, you can't put too much vegetables in a stir fry. Okay, so if you don't know if you have exactly 3 cups of broccoli, don't worry about it. Use what you have, okay? I think this is a great recipe. We try to eat about a half a plate of veggies at least dinner, and we're striving to do it at lunch and breakfast as well. But it's a really great opportunity to add those veggies in, get some great flavor, and have a really yummy, fresh dish. So if you're gonna do some broccoli florets, if you bought a head of broccoli, I'm gonna show you guys how to prep this. I am now using my 5-inch utility knife. Guys, this and the 5-inch Santoku knife are my most used knives in the kitchen. If you do not have a good knife, meaning you have to like stab your pepper or tomato with the tip of your knife before you're cutting it, you have to go like this on the hilt to push it down and get through your fruits, onions, potatoes. You probably need a sharper knife, because a dull knife is way more dangerous than a sharp one, because you're likely gonna have it fall and cut you because a knife is still a knife. So for the broccoli, I'm gonna cut off my stems here to get my broccoli florets, which is basically my heads of broccoli here, okay guys? So I like to take my utility knife, don't put your finger up here, put it around. When you put it up here, you're using more of your wrist and your finger to cut. When you wrap it around, you're gonna use more of your forearm. When you have a blade that swoops up, you're gonna do kind of an airplane motion. It swoops up in the air. If you have a flat blade, like I was using earlier today, that's a Santoku knife, you're gonna cut more like a choo-choo train, okay? So you wanna cut away from you if you can. I know I don't always follow that golden rule myself, but guys, I'm not a professional chef. I'm a pampered chef, giving you some tips that I've learned in my own kitchen. If you want, you can keep the stems. You can throw them in smoothies. You could throw it in, like another stir fry. You could throw it in soup, freeze them, put them in soup. Lots of different things you can do. But the whole point of a stir fry is to have some smaller pieces of vegetable ready to go. Okay, so I got my florets ready to go. And we're gonna throw these in a Ziploc bag once they're cut. We have a really great video called Knife Skills 101. So if you're somebody that maybe isn't super comfortable with a knife, or you're like, I have a ton of knives in a knife block, but I don't know what each one is used for individually, let us know and we can send you that video as well. Okay. And we got some nice chunks of broccoli ready to go. Okay. Again, what I love about my flexible cutting mats, I'll throw this aside over here, is I can take my Ziploc bag, I can curl it up like this and dump it in without, it's a nice little funnel there. So if you don't have flexible cutting mats, highly recommend looking into them. Great for meal prep. Okay. Peppers. Okay, you guys, this is one of my favorite questions. Okay, so if you're watching the replay, let me know, but if you're live, I want to ask bell peppers. Debbie, Leah, Diane, you've heard this one a billion times from me, so I'm not going to ask you. What is the first thing you do when you cut your bell pepper? Where do you cut first?
I don't use bell peppers for anything, but if I were to cut it, I would cut it in half and then remove the seeds.
Okay. Leah? I don't know if she's there still. Audience, drop in the comments below. Okay, so bell peppers, I love them for lots of different things. My kids literally just ate 7-cup thing of them today. So we eat them for snacks. We throw them in our eggs. We use them in stir fries. Great healthy way. I do know, like I have some friends that have allergies to raw bell peppers and things like that though. So what I'm gonna do is, if I were making stuffed bell peppers, I would cut off the top first, okay? And then I'd scoop out the seeds. However, I hate scooping out seeds. And if I don't need to do that, then I don't want to do it. So I learned this awesome trick that you cut off the bottom first. And the reason you do that is because then you can see the inside with the seeds, and you can, I usually will pull off the stem like that just to make it easier. You can follow along and do less cuts and not have to worry about pulling those seeds out, getting them all over your cutting board, getting them stuck to your hands. And voila, look at that. Very little waste of a pepper. Okay, so I'll throw that over here. We compost. So, okay, couple things you can do with peppers. So, if you are someone who has a simple slicer, I would actually cut off the top first, get those seeds out, and put the food, what is it called? Oh my gosh, it's been a long day. The food guard, the grabber on the bottom of the pepper. If you have a mandolin, a rapid prep mandolin, you can throw them in like this. Or if you have a quick slicer, which is how I cut up my 7 cups of bell peppers that my kids ate in one day, it makes these awesome strips that are perfect for stir fries, perfect for veggie trays, perfect for fajitas. It's pretty amazing. So I will show you a couple with this quick slice here. The quick slice is also great for many other foods. Diane, what's one thing you love the quick slice for? Now that she stepped away, sorry.
You want my honest opinion?
Yes.
Oh, I don't like the quick slice.
Oh my gosh, I use it all the time. Okay, so I just did a live video, so you can find me on Facebook, Samantha Pankow Thomas, last night, showing all the ways that I use this quick slice all the time. So,
You have to use it as a rocking motion, and I think for me it takes too long. I just use the mandolin.
okay, yep. So for me, I love it. I use it to cut zucchini, grapes, cucumber, peppers, tomatoes, mozzarella cheese to make a great caprese salad. I have a 9-month-old, so it's really great to cut the strawberries with. For those of you who have been around Pampered Chef for a while and you haven't seen this tool yet, it is like the Egg Slicer Plus on steroids. So if you're doing some hard-boiled eggs, mushrooms, strawberries, you can do multiple at a time rather than that one with the little wire, if y'all remember that. Okay. So next one we're gonna do is our mandolin. So Diane, do you cut the top off when you're using your mandolin then?
Yes, I still do it like that.
Okay, you cut the top off. So I'm gonna actually cut the top and the bottom off. I'm gonna do my little cuts to get this seeded out. Still the least amount of moves possible. We do have something called a scoop loop, which is like, I think, a $5 or $6 item that is super easy to use as well. And then I'm gonna grab my rapid prep food mandolin, and you can either throw it in half of it, and you're gonna slice it kind of like you did your onion. I'm gonna keep it on the same setting. Maybe not. I haven't done it before. Trial and error. Diane, what setting do you put it on?
I put it on 4.
4.
I like them thinner.
Do you do it on whole or chopped?
I did it on whole, but I stacked mine on top of each other to make it.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll try that again. We'll see if that works. But I might just use my quick slice. So I love this mandolin for lots of things. Turn them sideways. That works the best. Okay, love it. And then my last one, slice it that way. Okay, so again, this recipe calls for 2 bell peppers. Guys, many of our packages come in 3. You may choose to just put it in. I have a little bit of onion left in mine too. Not gonna hurt to put a little bit of onion in your stir fry. So that is a great option there. I have any questions about cutting of peppers and broccoli?
No, I just changed my meat out for chicken instead of steak though.
Great, I love the substitution. You probably could do pork too, right?
It's just my kids don't eat red meat that much, rarely, so they love chicken, so that's what I decided to use.
Awesome, I love it. I love hearing how we can, you know, change up these freezer meals and make it to your family. And honestly, when we do these freezer meal workshops, if you're like, you know, my family doesn't really eat that kind of meat, what would you recommend to substitute? There's so many different options that you can do. Okay, next thing is going to be putting our sauce together. Okay, so this one, we are going to get a mixing bowl or a prep bowl. I personally love my 2-cup silicone prep bowl for this, guys. Okay, silicone prep bowl. You can get your mini whisk out. You can get a regular whisk out. If you don't have a whisk, you can use a fork or a scraper. And this is where we're going to start taking our soy sauce, and you're going to put 1/3 a cup of soy sauce into your mixing bowl. So this one, I think, no, this doesn't have 1/3 on here. So this has half, this goes up by half cups on our flexible one. So I'll use my 2-cup measuring, easy read measuring cup. Soy sauce has that kind of annoying thing on it, so it doesn't come out super quick. You can pull that off if you're like, I just want to get it done quick, or you just can turn it off.
Or you have soy sauce like an Asian and have the gold.
Or you have soy sauce like my very dear friend, Asian friend, Diane. You're Korean, right, Diane?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And then it pours right out probably, right? Okay, 1/3 a cup of soy sauce. 3 tablespoons of Asian seasoning mix. I'm just going to, I have an older one again that I'm trying to get rid of. I may just use the one I have open because I don't want to deal with this right now. Here we go. Okay. 1 tablespoon of garlic canola oil. Okay. And now for one of my favorite things. Anybody use jarred garlic here? If you are watching, drop garlic in the chat, or actually drop jar in the chat. If you use jarred garlic, if you're live streaming here with me, Debbie, Leah, anybody use jarred garlic still?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. So I'm going to give you guys just a little bit of rundown about garlic. I was an avid jarred garlic user. Big jar, minced garlic, you know, just buy it at the grocery store. Lasts forever in that fridge, right? Yeah. I have no idea what's in that garlic to make it last forever. So we are not by any means 100% clean eaters, but I love to make some easy swap, and I found that garlic is an easy swap. So for those of you joining me who may not be somebody who cooks, Debbie, you're going to appreciate this story. Guys, this is a head of garlic or a bulb of garlic, okay? This thing right here is not 1 clove. Debbie, what's going to make you laugh is when Linda started Pampered Chef, if you haven't heard her story yet, she told us that she thought this whole thing was a clove. And so she used 3 of these for her recipes. So.
Well, I bet she smelled good after that.
Oh yeah. So I love sharing that story because I really think that there's so many people that just don't know. I didn't cook with fresh garlic growing up. I could have made the same mistake. So yes. So some quick garlic tip. If you are somebody who is going to buy some fresh garlic, there's a few things that I like to point out. You want your garlic bulbs to be like men's underwear, whitey tighties, okay? If it's sprouting at the bottom, like you can see the green thing starting to pull apart, it's not going to be fresh. and it's probably not going to be fresh much longer. One of the things that I always like to tell people is sometimes you buy garlic and it has a hairy bottom. This one does not. That means that this garlic is not from the United States. Okay, and actually, this is a product of China because import laws require them to cut off the root in order for it to be shipped to the United States for agricultural purposes. So mine is not from the United States. So I know that because it didn't have a hairy bottom. But if you're somebody that's conscientious about wanting some real fresh stuff, there you are. With our garlic press. This garlic press is another one of my homestead tools. You take your garlic clove and you're gonna need, I believe, you only need 2 cloves. I have 3 ready to go. I'm just gonna show you. You do not need to peel it, okay? So all you need to do is put it in your garlic press, close it, push it down, and I'll show you all in just a sec. And it minces your garlic super well, super easy, and it's super easy to clean up. So when I pull it open, you have your peel in there and it's ready to go. So I'm going to show you guys my other one here one more time. Don't need to peel it. Close it up. Nice minced garlic coming through. You get the peel out. It comes with a tool that will help you get the peel out. That disappeared in my abyss of a drawer. So now you may be wondering, what if I don't have a garlic press, guys? So I'm going to show you guys the old-fashioned way. Hate this way now that I have a garlic press, but I'm going to show it to you. You're going to take your knife. A little bit better to have a thicker blade sometimes, but that's okay. You take your garlic. You're going to put your knife hilt flat down on your garlic here. Push it this way a little bit so y'all can see on both views, and press it down and crush it. Okay, that'll help you get the skin off, the peel off. You don't have to peel it. And then you basically have to do your old-fashioned little chopping motions to get your minced garlic. So, as you can see, the garlic press is a lot more efficient. But if you do not have it, and you have a really stressful day, you might chop up some garlic at home. So there you are. Okay, so it doesn't hurt to add some extra garlic to this either. My family likes garlic. Here we go. Okay, how are you guys doing on the marinade? Anybody too far behind?
No.
Diane,
So-
are you making your marinade any different?
My my frozen garlic. So
Yeah.
I peel a lot of garlic and then I use the manual food chopper
Uh-huh.
to mince all of it, and then I Ziploc bag it and freeze it.
Awesome. I love that. And that's because your family cooks with a lot of garlic, right?
Mostly every single meal has garlic in it.
Okay. So if you're a jarred garlic fan and you're like, I use a ton of garlic and I use that whole jar, then Diane just gave you an awesome solution for some fresh garlic in your meals. Love it. Okay, what about your marinade? Any difference in your marinade, or are you pretty much following the recipe?
Just following the recipe.
Okay, great. So the next thing you're going to add, guys, is cornstarch. This is going to be your thickening agent for your marinade. Guys, there are lots of things you can use as a thickening agent. If you don't have cornstarch, you could use some flour. I think xanthan gum or psyllium husk is also great if you have any gluten-free issues. And this calls for 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. Okay, I did pull out a measuring spoon. I love the adjustable measuring spoons. Again, when I talk about kitchen real estate space, if you have somebody, a college student, an apartment, a small kitchen, having these adjustable measuring spoons is great. This one in particular is our larger one. It goes from 1 teaspoon to 1 tablespoon. And then we have a smaller one that I think goes from 1/8 of a teaspoon to a teaspoon, maybe 2 teaspoons. I'm not sure. So I have that in. Again, we're going to whisk this up. I always say that if you are going to whisk up some flour or cornstarch in something, don't do it when it's hot. You're gonna get big clumps. So if you're making gravy or something and you can mix up the cornstarch or the flour with some milk or water prior to adding it to your vegetables, you're gonna save yourself lots of heartache. Okay, cool. Now what I love about this is now going to go into your gallon Ziploc with your steak, okay? So your steak, couple options, guys. If you bought your steak in its whole, it just really depends on if you're gonna cook this for sure in a skillet, you're gonna wanna slice it up while it's raw. If you think you're going to alter this recipe and maybe cook that steak in the quick cooker or the rock crop, then you can cook it and chop it up with your salad choppers, okay? Cutting up steak, great thing to have is one of your big 8 or 9 inch Santoku or chef's knives. It'll slice right through it, makes it super easy to cut through, okay? So I'm gonna grab my steak really quick. Mine is not cut because I can tell you right now that I will be putting this in my quick cooker. I've already have it planned out because I'm going to do it with my rice at the same time. And then I'll saute my vegetables on the stove. You're going to have your meat in a separate Ziploc from your vegetables. My scissors. And you guys, I'm not super picky about the kind of meat and steak I buy for recipes unless I'm making like a roast. Ooh, I just got meat juice all over my rapid prep mandolin. Gonna have to clean that up. So I typically try to buy stuff when it's on sale unless I'm making like a recipe that you really need a specific roast for or a specific cut for. I'm all about the sales, feeding my family on a decent budget. So there's that. I'm gonna go ahead and throw my marinade in. What I again love about silicone prep bowls is you can squeeze them, you can funnel it in. They're silicone, so they scrape really easily. This is where I'm gonna get one of my multi-million scrapers because I love my scrapers. Okay. Fan favorites. I'm sure all of you have a scraper here. Are you a mix and scrape, which is like your spoon one, or are you a classic scraper kind of person?
Spoonula.
Which one?
Spoonula. The spoons, those
Oh,
are.
the spoon one. Okay, cool.
They used to be called a spoonula.
A spoonula. I didn't know that. Awesome. Okay, so you like the mix and scrape. You're Debbie, I'm on your team, okay?
I use whatever's handy.
Awesome. Okay, use whatever's handy. So was it Leah that said the mix and scrape? Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Sorry, guys. Okay, so Debbie, you use whatever's handy. Leah, you're on my team when it comes to the scrapers. It's all personal preference. So, okay. So I've got my beef in here. Gonna get as much air as I can out and knead it together. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so last step, veggies. Guys, this doesn't even seem like that many veggies. I would probably add more to it for my family just because we eat a lot of them. So it probably depends on how many people you have.
You said veggies?
Yeah.
Yeah. I did more broccoli.
Yeah, I may not have quite 3 cups in here. I'll probably cut up some more on cooking day. Okay, so you're gonna put these 2 together in your big Ziploc bag. Once again, get your freezer meal instructions, throw it in your sandwich bag, put your date on it, and one more time, just Actually, let me ask the crowd. If you have a regular freezer, how many months is it good for?
3.
3, awesome. What about your deep freezer, guys?
6.
Yeah, 4
It
to
was
6. Yeah,
6.
awesome. Love it. Okay, so some other trivia questions while we're finishing putting these into bags. Cooking temperature. What is the cook temperature for chicken? Anybody know?
185.
165?
165. Yep. I mean, you could probably go 185. It just might be a little dry.
Well, that explains a lot.
Yes. So 165 for chicken. What about pork, guys? Do you guys know what pork is?
170?
Anybody else? No? Diane? Pork is 145 for well done. So
Oh.
used to be 165 back in the day, and now it's actually 145 well done. Okay. And I will say that Easy Read, or what is it, our digital thermometer, gosh, I don't even know what it's called. We have an amazing digital thermometer, and guys, it has right on it there, fish, beef, pork, poultry, and gives you that little cheat sheet there too. So, cool. Okay, so that pretty much wraps up where we're at. Do I have any questions? Any questions on sides that you guys may want to know about? Tools, recipes? No?
No.
No, I'm good.
Okay, cool. Well, once you make these freezer meal workshops, guys, or when you make the freezer meals, I would love for you to take a picture of them. If you're in our freezer meal community, you can share in there. You can share in your consultants group, put it on Facebook, tag your consultant in it, because we love, love, love hearing when people enjoy their recipes. If this is something that you love and you're like, yeah, I can make 5 meals for my family and use them in a month, we are actually doing these workshops on a weekly basis. So our next one is July 11th and 13th. And that one is going to be a taste of summer with barbecue as our focus for the recipes. Not all of them will be barbecue, but we're going to use that Kansas style barbecue and that South Carolina barbecue as some of our mainstay recipes. So just got to get registered for that by June 27th. So, yeah, awesome. Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and stop my recording. Thank you guys again for joining.